Hello, everyone. Today I am going to talk about chapters 11 and 12. 11 being about creating products and pricing strategies to meet our needs, and chapter 12 being more about distributing and promoting these products and services. I love these two chapters. They're both marketing related, and marketing is part of my wheelhouse, especially digital marketing. So I teach in that area. So I hope you all enjoy it too. So I'm going to kind of just dive right in, starting with chapter 11. But within these two chapters, we are going to be looking at the marketing mix, all right? So it's also known as the 4Ps. So we've got your product, your price, your place, also known as distribution, so not to be confused, same thing, and your promotion. So chapter 11 focuses more on that product and price. Chapter 12 focusing more on that place or distribution and promotion. So at the beginning of chapter 11, it talks about the marketing concept and relationship building, right? So marketing in general includes the business activities that are designed to satisfy consumer needs and wants through the exchange process. So marketing managers, if you will, use the right principle, okay, the right principle, getting the right goods or services to the right people at the right place, time, and price. So using these promotional, the right promotional techniques, if you will. All right, so a lot of firms today have adopted the marketing concept. So the marketing concept involves identifying the consumer needs and wants and then producing products, which could be goods, services, or ideas to actually satisfy those needs, all right, while also, of course, making a profit. So that's the marketing concept. So instead of just making and producing a lot of products and hope that they sell, they are trying to figure out what people are actually wanting or needing, and then making products or services or whatever that entails to actually tailor to those wants and needs. What a brilliant concept, right? And then it goes into talk about relationship marketing, and that entails, forging long-term relationships with customers, which can really lead to repeat sales, repeat cost, and just those stable relationships, which from a business standpoint, you want those repeat customers, all right? So how do you think managers actually create marketing strategies? So a firm will actually create a marketing strategy by understanding the external environment, all right? Defining their target market, so who are they trying to target their product to, determining a competitive advantage, what makes them stand out, and developing a marketing mix, so the 4Ps that I mentioned in the beginning of this. So environmental scanning, if you will, enables companies to understand that external environment. So the target market, again, the specific group we are actually targeting, so those consumers where we are going to put our direct marketing efforts, our competitive advantage, what sets us apart, right? And then, how are we perceived by our target market opposed to, or in comparison to, if you will, our competition, okay? So then it kind of digs into the marketing mix, which I've already mentioned, right? So it's the blend of our products, our prices, our distribution, or our place, our promotion, and it also mentions in your book our people, all right? So marketing managers use this mix to really satisfy target customers or consumers, all right? The people that we are trying to direct our marketing efforts toward, right? And this marketing mix can be applied to non-business as well as business situations, all right? So how do consumers and organizations actually make buying decisions? So buying behavior is what consumers and businesses do to buy and use products. So the consumer's purchase decision-making process really consists of the following steps. So recognizing a need, all right, or that trigger, that makes us think we have a need, all right, seeking information, evaluating our alternatives, and purchasing the actual product, judging the purchase outcome, and then engaging in our post-purchase behavior, all right? So there's several factors that actually increase this process. So we've got our cultural, our social, individual, and different psychological factors that really have an impact on our consumer decision making. All right. So the business purchase decision making model includes a little bit different, but we've got that need recognition. We've got setting specifications. All right. We do our information search based on those specifications. We do our evaluation of alternatives against our specifications. We purchase, and we have that post-purchase behavior. So the main differences here between the consumer and the business markets are the purchase volume, the number of customers, the location of buyers, direct distribution, and rational purchase decisions. So companies really learn more about their target markets by conducting market research. So the process, planning, collecting, analyzing data, etc., should be relevant to their marketing decision. So in your book, it talks about 5 basic forms of market segmentation. All right. So success in the market and marketing actually really depends on your target market. All right. And it all varies based on your companies. But one technique used to identify the target market, again, is our market segmentation. So 5 basic forms here of segmentation are: we've got our demographics, so your population statistics; your geographic, so the location; psychographic, so think personality or lifestyle; your benefits, so product features; and then your volume, your amount purchased. So business markets may segment based on geography, volume, and benefits, just as consumer markets are. So, however, organizations might also segment based on the use of the product, characteristics of purchasing function, and the size of the client or industry. So, as well as taking in some other considerations related to characteristics of business consumers. All right. So then it goes in to talk about products. What is an actual product? How is it classified? Okay. So a product can be a good service or idea, along with its perceived attributes and benefits that creates customer value, right? So tangible attributes include the good itself, packaging, and different warranties, right? Intangible attributes can include the brand's image, or relational attributes such as the credibility of its service providers, so anything like that. Products are categorized as either a consumer product or a business product, sometimes also called a business-to-business product, which can be commercial, industrial, or service products. All right. So consumer products are bought and used by the end user, right? So sometimes called the ultimate user. So you go to the store, you buy some milk, that is a consumer product, all right? So they also can be classified as unsought products, all right? So convenience products, shopping products, or specialty products, depending on how much effort consumers are willing to exert to actually get them, all right? Convenience products would be something that you buy, you're not going to research, so think maybe your toilet paper or your milk or something like that. And then the shopping and specialty products are the ones that you might compare prices and you do some research and stuff like that. You put a little bit more effort into it. Your business products are those bought by organizations for use in making other products or rendering services to other organizations, and include capital products and expense items. All right. So how do organizations actually create new products? So to succeed in this, most firms must continue to design new products to really satisfy changing customer or consumer demands. So businesses really have to work to evolve to keep up with the demands of their customers. So new product development can be risky though. So many new products actually fail. And the steps in new product development are setting new product goals, exploring ideas, screening ideas, developing the concept, so kind of creating a prototype or building, a marketing strategy, test marketing, and then introducing the actual product. So when the product actually enters the marketplace, it's often managed about what they call a product manager, right? So then once we have that product, they go through these different stages of the product lifestyle, all right? And this cycle, if you will, typically includes 4 different stages. So we've got introduction, growth, maturity, and decline, all right? And decline could also possibly mean death. So profit margins are usually small in the introductory phase. They reach a peak at the end of the growth phase, and then they start to decline. So price indicates value and really helps position a product in the marketplace, and this really means earning a fair return on investment. You want that return on investment, also known as ROIs. So if a price is too high, the product won't sell well and the firm will lose money. But if the price is set too low, the firm may lose money even if the product sells well. Pricing are really set according to pricing objectives, but this is why it's super important to take careful consideration when pricing new products. So then in your book, and this is important because you'll need to know it, are different pricing strategies and what strategies are used to actually price products, all right? So your book talks about there's 2 main strategies for new products. We've got price skimming and price penetration. Price skimming involves charging a high introductory price and then usually lowering the price as the product moves through its life cycle. Penetration pricing, however, is the opposite. It involves selling a new product at a very low price in the hope of achieving that large sales volume. And then once people, keep buying it and they're like, oh, I've got to have it, they start to raise the price. So pricing tactics are used to really fine-tune the base prices of products. So sellers use the leader pricing to set the prices of some of their products below that normal markup or even below the cost to attract customers who really might otherwise not shop at those stores. So it also talks about price bundling, and that's grouping 2 or more products together and pricing them as one. We also have psychological pricing, and this really often plays a role in how customers view products in determining what they will pay. So setting that a price at an odd number tends to create a perception that the item is cheaper than the actual price. So that's why you see a lot of things at $9.99, $8.99, or $99.99, because when we see that 99, we don't register 100, even though $99.99 is $100. Let's be honest. A penny shy is not even worth talking about. All right, but that is called either people will call it either psychological pricing. Sometimes people call it even odd pricing, but psychological pricing is the main term that I like to use for that. So setting prices at the odd number again throws people off. Prices in even numbers usually denote people perceive as quality or status. So raising the price so an item will be perceived as having like high quality or status is called prestige pricing. And then pricing for services is more complicated, often tailored to specific services for a specific customer. So at the very end of your chapter, it talks about different trends that are occurring in products and pricing. And a lot of this has to do with the internet and how they've really given pricing power to both buyers and sellers. And that, many firms are using databases to create that one-to-one marketing so they can be a little bit more personalized. And a large amount of information that is available to marketers is really being mined and analyzed to target specific customers with personalized message rather than creating one message that is aimed to a broad audience. So you'll see this a lot, especially in the digital marketing world. Like if you are thinking about social media marketing, a lot of things are tailored to specific platforms instead of just generally put out there, because that is how you can reach more customers. So that is kind of a good brief overview of chapter 11. And chapter 12 really just piggybacks on that. So again, focusing more on distributing and promoting our products and services. So at the beginning of the chapter, it talks about, what is the nature and function of distribution or place. And so in chapter 11, we covered more of that product and price. In chapter 12, again, we will cover more of that place and promotion. So distribution, or our place, includes the efficient managing of the acquisition of raw materials by the factory, and the movement of products from the producer or the manufacturer to the business users and consumers. So places usually include such activities as location selection, store layout, atmosphere, and image building for the location, inventory, transportation, and logistics. So logistics activities are usually the responsibility of the marketing department and are part of a large series of activities included in your supply chain. So different distribution channels are the series of marketing entities through which goods and services actually pass on their way from producers to end users. So distribution systems focus on the physical transfer of goods and services, on their legal ownership at each stage of the distribution process. So channels kind of reduce that number of transaction and ease the flow of goods. So, and it talks about different types of channels in chapter 12. It talks about wholesaling and the different types of wholesalers. And wholesalers typically sell finished products to retailers and to other institutions such as manufacturers, schools, and hospitals. And the two main types of wholesalers are merchant wholesalers and agents and brokers. So the merchant wholesalers buy from manufacturers and sell to other businesses. Then you have your agent and brokers, who are essentially independents who provide those buying and selling services. So they kind of intervene as a third party, and they receive commissions according to their sales and don't take title or ownership of the merchandise. And so it talks about the different kinds of retail operations in chapter 12. And it mentions that, around, and there's probably even more now, 15 million Americans are engaged in retailing, which is a big number. And retailing can either be in-store or, online, not in-store. In-store retail operations include department stores. We've got our specialty stores. So I think your boutiques, your discount stores, your off-price retailers, your factory outlets, your catalog showrooms, etc., which you don't see many of those anymore. Your non-store retailing includes vending machines. So vending machine businesses actually can be very lucrative. But vending machines, direct sales, direct response marketing, think kind of like your MLMs, home shopping networks, if you've ever watched that, and internet retailing, which has become very huge, as you all know. But the most important factors in creating a store's atmosphere are in your employee type and density, your merchandise type and density, your fixture type and density, sound, etc. So when it goes in to talk about how supply chain management really increases efficiency and customer satisfaction, and the goal of supply chain management is really to coordinate all the activities of the supply chain members into a seamless process, all right? So this, would be increasing customer satisfaction. And so supply chain managers have responsibility for main channel strategy decisions. So coordinating the sourcing and procurement of raw materials, scheduling production, processing orders, managing inventory, transporting and storing supplies, finished goods, and coordinating customer service activities, all right? So then it gets into the promotion, what is promotion and what are the key elements of the promotional mix, all right? So promotion aims to stimulate demand for a company's goods or services, right? So think all your ads and all that, right? They're promoting something, usually a specific good or service. The promotional strategy is designed to inform and persuade or remind target audiences. Remember, the people who we're directing our marketing efforts toward about these particular products. So the goals of promotion are to create awareness, get people to try your products, provide information, keep local customers, increase the use of a product, identify potential customers, and really just teach clients about potential services. So the unique combination of advertising, personal selling, sales promotion, public relations, social media, and e-commerce, again, very huge, are used to promote a product. And this is called a promotional mix. All right. So using all of these different types of advertising would be called your promotional mix. So advertising, as you know, is any paid form of non-personal promotion by an identified sponsor. All right. Personal selling consists of that face-to-face presentation in a conversation with a prospective like purchaser or a client. A sales promotion consists of marketing activities. So other than personal selling, advertising, and public relations that really stimulate customers to actually buy something. And these activities really include like coupon samples, as you know, displays, different samples. I think when you go to Sam's or Costco and they have samples out for you to try, shows and exhibitions, any kind of demonstrations, any kind of selling efforts. All right. And so public relations is the marketing function that links the policies of the organization with the public interest and really develops programs designed to earn public understanding and acceptance. All right. So it is really, it is careful consideration of, take careful consideration of all of these elements of the promotional mix to produce a consistent, unified message that is really focused on your customers. All right. And so then it gets into traditional advertising. All right. It talks about how the cost per contact, you'll hear the term cost per contact, if you will, and that is the cost of reaching one member of your target market. And so often costs are expressed on a cost per thousand basis. So reach, and if you hear the term reach, that is the number of different target customers who are exposed to a commercial at least once during a specific period, usually for weeks. But it doesn't have to be commercial. It could be anything that you do, ads on social media, email marketing. It could be anything like that. So your reach are just the people that actually see your content, okay, whatever that looks like. And so it talks about frequency, and that is the number of times an individual is actually exposed to the message. All right. How many times do they see it? And then it goes in to talk about media selection. And that is a matter of matching the advertising medium with the target audience. Okay. And you always want to focus on where your customers are. And then it also talks about technology. And that just really continues to drive many recent changes to traditional advertising strategy. Hence why digital marketing is really big today. And then it goes into personal selling, all right? And it mentions that millions, and I think your book uses like 6.5 million, I'm sure it's a lot more now, but people in the United States are directly engaged in personal selling. So personal selling really enables a salesperson to demonstrate a product and tailor that message to the prospect, all right? It has been proven to be very effective in actually closing a sale. So professional salespeople are knowledgeable and creative, and they are also very familiar with the selling process, which consists of prospecting and qualifying, approaching customers, presenting and demonstrating the product, handling any kind of objections that you always need to expect, closing the sale, and then following up on that sale. And the follow-up might not happen as much as it needs to, but it's very important. And then it talks about different goals of sales promotion and what the different types of sales promotion are. And so the main goal of sales promotion is immediate purchase. All right. So whether it is aimed at consumers or the trade, like wholesalers or retailers, but the most popular sales promotions are coupons, samples, as I mentioned, product placement. That's why products are strategically placed on end caps in a grocery store and whatnot. Premiums, contests, those are huge on social media, especially Instagram and stuff. And then different sweepstakes, all right? So trade shows, conventions, point of purchase displays, or other different types of sales promotion. How many of you have bought something, you've gone to check out, and you have seen something by the checkout that you just felt like you needed in that moment, you bought it? there's a reason why it is placed there, and their strategery worked. But how does public relations actually fit into the promotional mix? So public relations is the mostly concerned with getting good quality publicity for companies and other organizations. So publicity, as you all know, is just any information about a company or product that appears in the news media and is not directly paid for by the company. All right. So public relations departments really furnish company speakers for business and civic clubs. They write speeches for corporate officers, encourage employees to take, active roles in civic groups, etc. All right. So these activities really help build a positive image for an organization. It can create buzz, hopefully good buzz, which is a good backdrop for selling its products. All right. And then it goes in to talk about social media and promotion, which is huge these days. All right. And so, social media platforms that you probably all are familiar with that all do have some kind of form marketing element. We've got Facebook, we've got X. I still like to call it Twitter. So sometimes I call it Twitter X, even though it's been like 2 years ish since it's been X. We've got LinkedIn, we've got Instagram, we've got Pinterest, we've got TikTok has become huge. So the phenomenon of social media has really created a business climate in which thousands of impressions, millions of impressions, marketing messages that can be, achieved with creating one or creative social media post, right? So social media is a hugely powerful tool, as you all know, for marketers. That is why we have we have a whole class dedicated towards social media marketing. It has challenges, all right? Because a social media post that goes viral can close down a business, all right? So, and even if it's not true, all right? So if it's in a negative light, it can definitely be hurtful. And so that's one of, social media's challenges, but also opportunity for marketers. So the internet, new technology and the internet are really having major impact on promotion, expenditures, if you will. So traditional media are really losing advertising funds to the internet. And many companies are now creating blogs to get closer to customers and potential customers. We've got podcasts are very popular. And a lot of times people are using that as a new advertising medium. We've got streaming videos. YouTube plays a huge part of this as well. In the very end of chapter 12, it talks about e-commerce and how it just really affects promotion. And e-commerce, again, referring to the development and maintenance of a company's website and the facilitation of commerce on the website, such as the ability for customers to order products online, get questions answered about products, and for the company to really introduce new products, ideas, etc. All right. And e-commerce can include special components designed specifically for separate target market segments, such as information boxes, games, etc. And e-commerce is just, as y'all know, blown up the last several years. And so there's businesses that are strictly e-commerce, and that is how they run their successful businesses. But the ease and use and ability to comparison shop, if you will, is driving millions of people to the internet and to purchase goods and services, right? So a lot of us are going to the internet to do our research and whatnot before we actually shop. And so major retailers such as Walmart, they're quickly increasing their web presence, staying relevant. They have to, right? So they don't get left behind, because this is an ever-changing business environment to really attract and keep loyal customers, because a lot of these people have switched to doing all of their shopping online. I know for me, as a convenience factor, I do a lot of shopping online just because it's convenient and efficient, but it's just a busy stage in life with kids and whatnot. But that is a wrap on chapter 12. So that's a good synopsis of both chapters 11 and 12. I hope you dig in and enjoy it, and I will be chatting with you all soon.